So when you're not around, comfort is lost. Many people cannot get that same comfort that you provide from other people in their life because they just don't have that ability to provide such comfort as you can. And most of the time, individuals in your life don't realize that until you pull your energy away, unfortunately. And when you pull your energy away, they tend to be angry at you. They tend to feel as though you're acting funny, acting different, something's wrong with you now. However, when you were around them, they didn't really appreciate your presence at that time. I heard if you love something, let it go when it comes back to you, or if it comes back to you, then it's yours. So maybe some of you had a moment in time where, because at first it felt like I was speaking about family, but then it switched to feeling like a romantic relationship. So it could be both depending on who's who, but many of you had to let a relationship go because you knew that that person wasn't ready for you, or wasn't ready for a serious relationship as you were, or as you still are. So you let the relationship end because you knew it was best for the both of you. Because in order for a relationship to work, both individuals have to be in it. They have to be willing and ready for that relationship. If the two people are not ready for it, then it's not going to work. Because one person is going to be putting all this extra effort in to try to make it work, and the other person is not going to be as enthusiastic about the relationship, and it's going to cause it to fall. Their foundation will be weak. And Spirit is giving me a sense that many of you tried to stick around for relationships like that weren't working because you were hoping for the best, but then you realized that it just wasn't the right time. Like the time wasn't right. Sometimes it is like that though. Sometimes the time is not right. It could be the right person in the wrong time sometime. So some of you could have found yourself waiting for someone to get themselves together. But then I'm picking up that you realize that you shouldn't be waiting for anyone. You should never feel like you have to wait for someone, because if they're not ready, they're just not ready. Spirit doesn't want you to ever stop your life off the strength of someone not getting their life together, because it really stops you from living happily. Waiting on someone who is not ready that's crazy. To wait on someone that's not ready, and then you kind of you block yourself from being able to fall in love again. And I find that many people do this, try to wait for someone to get it right when that person is not even working towards getting it right, because they're not even there yet. So imagine how long someone can end up waiting for someone that they desire to be in a relationship with, especially if the person is not ready yet. That's you'll begin to waste away when no one deserves to just waste away and not be able to explore options or just communicate on a friendly basis, because it's easy to fall in this space of being so in love with someone that's not ready to be deeply in love with you and in a committed relationship, to the point where you forget about your needs and what you should be receiving, or what you could be receiving, or the relationships that you could have. You kind of you'll begin to push anyone away because your heart space, you're leaving it only for that one person. So even if someone wants to be your friend, you barely can even take friendships, because it's like, I'm waiting for this person. My heart is only open for that person, and you are so deeply in love with this one person that you don't even allow yourself to get to know someone else. And it's not even like, I heard you could feel like you're cheating. And that's really bad when you feel like that, because you're really preventing yourself from growth or growing into a relationship that's healthy. Because you can come across a healthy relationship during the time of hoping that someone changes their ways. And sometimes people do change their ways, and they do improve in their life. But it's not always like that. From my experience, most people including myself, that go through that, the person, they're still doing the same thing they did before. So it's like the statistics are higher when it comes to someone being stuck in their ways and not changing. Unfortunately, at least from my experience. For many of you, maybe that's not true for you, but in my experience, that's what I have observed. That, you know, you would want someone to change, you would want the best for them, but they just never get it right. They never get there. Not saying it's not possible, because it is for some people, but that's not for most people. They get stuck. You know, so that's the main reason why a shift is really needed, because people get stuck. And you find that people that you had to remove yourself from or allow them to just go ahead, when you see them again, they're doing the same thing they were doing before. And it's like, really? And you could have done so much and grown. You could have grown so much through that time span of not being around that person. And then to see that they're still doing what they were doing before you left them, or before the relationship had to part ways. Not only is that disappointing to the spirit, right? Because it's like, I think genuinely, I mean, some people don't want people to get better because they're just so angry that they don't want that. They don't even care, which is understandable. But then there's some people that are like, you know, it didn't work between me and you, but I hope you get better for yourself, because I still have love for you. Like, you know, I want you to use your life for the greater good, you know, when it comes to self, at least, just for someone to find themselves. So to see someone stuck, and you have been able to hop over leaps and bounds of different experiences and circumstances, and to see someone that you actually had or were in love with or very close to, it's actually saddening. It's really sad to see that, because someone who understands what it is to have feelings for someone but not be in love with them, and then see that they haven't grown, it's kind of like, wow, it's sad. It's just not, I can't say that it's like funny or anything, because that's still a life. Like, that's still a person that ended up getting so lost in the sauce, I just heard, but lost in their environment, that they never found their way out to make sense of their life, and they continue to do what they did years ago. And many people get stuck there. And these same individuals that get stuck in that like time warp, because they even speak the same, the comfort that they had with you, they still haven't found that anywhere, because people like you don't even exist most of the time. It's like you're someone who doesn't really, people don't come around someone like you often. You're rare. That's rare. You're very rare. You're not regular. So these individuals that have the experience to experience what it is like to be around you, they are still uncomfortable. And the main reason why is because they haven't made the changes in their life in order to change their own thoughts about themselves, to then magnetize individuals that are more like you. And the reason why the relationship had to end is because you realize that they're not magnetically aligned with you. You know how magnets, they connect? You didn't feel that magnetic pull to this person. You may have felt it for reasons that were more vain, like looks or some type of benefit, maybe in the bedroom type activities. Maybe that's what drew you to the person. But then once you realize that that's all it was, it became, the relationship, you saw it as useless, because there was no growth there. So this is why they're so uncomfortable, because they're not changing. So being that they're not changing, they're not going to be able to build great relationships with individuals that are more like you, because they're not in the frequency to align themselves with people that are more like you. Okay, so that's just a message to just inform you of how your presence gives others comfort. You are someone who you hold. Home is you. You are home. So when people are around you, no matter where they are, they will feel like home. And there's nothing sweeter than that. Nothing sweeter than that. Okay, my loves? Well, okay. Anyway, things are dropping. Everything you do, do it with love. Always remember that the creator is in you and the magic is too, because you're magic. Much love to you, my honey roses. I'll see you in the next video.